I got ahead of myself today, guys. I was gonna make a table of logs, and I was thinking, you know, I was gonna swap out and try these traditional knives instead of the perfect split. And I started swapping this out, and I thought I need to do a video on this. So what I'm gonna do is swap out a knife. I got an 8-way and the 6-way. These are heavy, man. These are a lot heavier than the 365s. So I'm gonna put in one of these, and we're gonna run a couple logs, and we'll see how it works. Swapping out the perfect split is not a lengthy process, but it's not one of these simple, you know, pull it out and put a new one in. I thought, let's go ahead and put it on the video, and I'll show you guys how it's done. This is my first time doing it too, so you might see some fumbling, but that's all part of the video, huh? Here we go. Where I got ahead of myself, I was taking this arm off when I realized I need to show this on video. So this is the arm, and it bolts into these two bolts here. There's threads behind it, and I just removed this with a 1/2-inch socket. This is the perfect split. Now I got to remove these two bolts. These are 24 millimeter. And yes, if I had an impact gun, these would come right out, but I'm going to do it old school with a wrench. And these are nylocks, so you got to fumble with them a little bit to get them to spin free with your fingers. The back one has a port where you can run an extension with a ratchet. You just have to move the oil jug. But I'm just going to use my wrench, and we'll get it out of here like this. One thing that you're not going to see on Ohio Wood Burner are extreme feats of strength. This has a winch to lift out the perfect split knife. I would imagine you could probably do it if you were strong enough, but those days are long behind you. You put this bar in, it locks in. You bring the winch over, and we'll lift it out with this. Okay. Just like that. And then we lift it out with the winch. There we go. Until it clears. This is weird. And pick it up a little bit more, guys. But here's a good view of the perfect split. This is the 4-way, 1, 2, 3, 4, and these are pretty sharp, man. These are all staggered so that the wood hits it at different times, and then they're on angles so that it's getting the wood pushed away from each other so they don't get bound up underneath the knife when it's splitting. Okay, so from there we're gonna move this out. I don't know, should I be worried about this falling off? Probably. But I'm gonna put my world's best wheelbarrow underneath it. And we'll lower. Well, I guess I can't lower it because this cable's in the way. So I need to move it off to the side like this to get clearance from this cable, I guess. Okay, so we'll lower it. I can still get it into my wheelbarrow. Ouch! I ran my hand into into the wire of the conveyor. There we go. And we got it out, man. Look at that. Like I said, this was my first time. You're watching it here as I get this figured out on the fly. I can now get the perfect split out of the way. And I guess we got some buildup in here. And I'll get all this out of here. Piece of wood stuck in the grating, and I don't know if I can get it to come out with the tools that I have. Well, it's stuck in here pretty good. If I had a screwdriver, I'm sure I could pry it out, but we'll just let it stay in there for now. Now here's the deal, guys. I got a couple problems going on. I've lost 2 bolts that have come out of this bottom piece, and that's I guess I got to keep up on keeping these tightened. These are 17 millimeter. They're not hardened bolts. They are 8.8. I think that's grade 5. So on the perfect split, the ram has to push the wood past the leading edge of that knife. Otherwise, when it pulls the wood back, you know, the bottom pieces are still going to be attached. Well, it is using this is like a hard plastic nylon kind of material, and you can see where the knife has been driving into it. Well, you can't leave this on when you use a traditional knife, because the knife's gonna get blasted by this piece of steel. The proper way to do it is to take all of these bolts out and take this arm off with an Allen head, take these screws out, and then it's got a different set of plates that go on the face of this, so that there's a big channel missing from the center, so that that knife can push the wood through it, and the leading edge of the knife is going to come back into here, and it won't get hit by anything. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but I'm missing 2 bolts, and I think there might be another way to do this. Maybe not approved by the factory, but hey, I'm an end user, and I'm going to see what I can do to maybe make this a less involved swap out. And I'll show it to you here once we get the knife installed. Now these knives are heavy. I could probably muscle it in, but I thought since we got a tool here, why risk an injury? And let's use it. All right, so let's crank this up, and we'll use the winch to put this in. And while we have it up here, let me just give you a close-up of the craftsmanship. I know you guys like to look at welds and look at the kind of steel that's being used. This knife has not been put in the machine yet. It still has cobwebs on it. So let's see how it works. Okay, so the crane does lift it up high enough. I don't have to tilt it anyway to get it to go in. And I'm going to lower it now in between the channels that it's designed to go into. Let's see how this goes. Oh, hold on. There we go. You're watching it live, guys. I'm going to be lowering it down into here, and then the hydraulic arm is going to set into that recess, and that's going to allow me to raise and lower the knife when I'm using the machine. Come on under the machine here. I'm going to show you how this hooks up. Here is the hydraulic arm. So that knife is going to sit right inside of that, and that's how it's going to be controlled from the dashboard. The knife is all the way in, and I'm going to take off this cable, and let's get this out of the way. I think this worked pretty good. The only thing was when it's over in this area, you know, you can't use it. Maybe it needs to have a second handle on it. I don't know. And this is done. So this handle can't stay here because it's going to get hit by the hood. So we'll lower it down, which will allow the hood to close. Okay, looking good. This is what I'm talking about. This ram, the way it's set up now, it can come out and just blast this knife. And that, of course, is a bad condition. So there is a way, however, that I can use the computer to control this, because the computer controls the ram on how far it comes out. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to turn the computer on. We're going to change our parameters, and we're going to see how it affects how far this ram comes out. Our computer has booted up, and I can go into my settings, and pusher out is what we want to fix. It's set up on number 4, so each number is a distance to this computer. I am going to click on pusher out. So it's set up on number 4, and it can go as high as 10. So we are going to set this on -4. So this means that the ram is going to come out not as far as it did before, and I'm pretty sure that -4 means it will not hit the knife. So it's set up now on pusher out is at -4. I'm going to close this menu. We're going to fire this bad boy up. And let's see how this ram works. I'm going to hit the button, and this is going to come out even farther, and let's see if it retracts before it hits the knife. All right, it works. The problem though is it's not going to shove the wood all the way through the knife, so I'm going to have some wood that's going to be hanging back. Well, is my length going to allow the log to fall in here the right way? And I'm just going to have to rely on the next log to push the previous log all the way through. But I think it's going to work. Let's try it out. So here we go, guys. This is a Japa 405 with a traditional 6-way knife. Pretty exciting. guys, I'm going to get spoiled. I just ran this through a 6-way knife. As a bigger log. Look how big this piece is. Perfect split would have eaten this up and I'd have had perfect pieces, no resplitting. Here's a problem with this setup, guys. Come here. I got my knife too high. I would like to lower it, but I can't because the wood isn't clearing the splitting chamber. So I need to put some small pieces in like this, then run the ram, then push these out, and then I can lower my knife. So that's the shortcoming to the way I have this set up. If I had it set up so that the knife was pushing the wood all the way through, I would be able to lower this when I'm working with a tapered log. Okay, well guys, there you saw it. The 405 with a traditional knife. And you know, you get the right size knife, you're able to get it set at the right height, and you make some nice wood. I think this is obviously going to be faster because you're getting just one push. I will say that the splitting on this machine is excellent. This has got some major splitting power. And you know, for as long as I've been running this with and this is my 9th table of logs, I have yet to have a jam. And a jam is what I would call where you got to get out the sledgehammer and start banging on stuff to get it to loosen. So I'm digging it. This is a shortcoming, however. I need to, if I'm going to just run a traditional knife, I would have to take the extra step of removing all of this and putting those other plates on. Then that would allow me to adjust the knife when I want to. Like right here, I cannot lower my knife because these logs are sitting in the splitting chamber. If the ram would have pushed this to clear this edge, I could raise and lower this pretty easy. And there you go, guys. I just thought you'd like to see this knife getting swapped out, and I just ran a couple logs for you to show you that it works a traditional knife. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, hit that thumbs up button. Guys, I hope everyone has a great day.